AI might kill web design, but in the meantime, we can utilize it to our advantage to create sites in Framer extra fast. And in this video, I'm going to teach you 3 new ways to build in Framer with AI. Let's go. Okay, so here we are inside of Framer. Now, the first thing I want to show you is Wireframer, which is a brand new release from Framer themselves. And essentially what it is it's a new AI page builder. But hence the name Wireframer. It kind of generates wireframe looking websites, not complete beautiful colored websites. So to use this, what we can do is actually go to the insert menu and we can click on Wireframer, and you will notice we actually get a bit of a chatbot start to appear. So for example, we can put in whatever prompts we want here and we can just click on generate. So I've asked it to create a landing page for my design startup. I would like a hero with a banner, a logo string, some features, and a newsletter section. And you'll notice it's now actually generated that page with all of those sections that I asked for across all of our breakpoints. So if I preview this and then make it responsive, you will notice that it's working just like expected. But there's a few limitations here. So we can obviously ask it to do other things. So I could ask it to add a FAQ accordion, and we'll let it do its thing. And it will pick the best spot for it and add it to our website. Works as expected. But like I mentioned, it's called Wireframer, and that's for a reason. So for example, if I wanted to ask it to add color to my website, you will notice we'll actually run into some limitations here. Now, basically what it's telling us is that we can't do this because it only uses the sections that it has available, which is one of the limitations of using this Wireframer tool. That is, if you want to do something that Framer do not have available, you can't do it. So it's basically just recommending sections to you based off the prompt that you suggest. So why use this? Well, I think a couple of different reasons. Number one, you can mock up your ideas really, really quickly. And number two, if you don't know how to build great layout in Framer, this is going to help a ton, because everything that's built here, whether it be from the nav bar or the hero section here, everything is built with responsiveness in mind. So you can imagine how quickly it could be to actually take your design here and then alter it to actually match your aesthetic. We can even make decisions directly from this chatbot as well. So I could go remove my newsletter form, and let's see how it goes. And you will notice it will just remove it just like so. So there's this kind of keyword going around on the internet at the moment called vibe coding. And this is basically it. You kind of just put in your prompt and Framer will do the heavy lifting in terms of generating the base of what you need. And then it's up to you to kind of bring your design skills to that to add to this page. Okay, next is probably my favorite AI feature in Framer, which is called Workshop, which lets you generate code components using single prompts. So what I can do is actually go to the plugins menu down the bottom here, and I'm going to search for the Workshop plugin. I'm going to open this up and you'll see we've got this UI here, and there's a few different examples that we can do. But for example here, I'm going to ask it to make a component. So I'm going to ask it to create a add to calendar button. And we want to make it that when pressed, we'll add an event to my Google Calendar. And I also want to make it that I can set the event details from the Framer properties panel. All right, let's click on create and let's see what it does. So you'll notice off to the side here, it's starting to actually write all of that code myself. Now, if you're not familiar with code components in Framer, essentially it lets you take React code and display that visually on the canvas, unlocking a whole new range of functionality. Now, obviously previous to Framer's Workshop plugin, you had to know how to write this code or be pretty handy with GPT to be able to do it yourself. But now this is kind of built in, we'll actually see a bunch of really powerful things that people are building with Framer. So we've created this component here, and I'll drag and drop this onto my page, and you'll notice that inside this component here, we've got our property styling down here, and you'll notice that inside this component, we have our property controls on the right hand side. So we could change the event title, the description, the location, basically all the fields we need for our event. And then if we preview this, and if I click on add to calendar, you'll notice that when I click on that button, it actually opens up my Google Calendar and pre-fills out all of that information that was inside inside my properties. Now, this alone is so powerful because whether you want to add functionality to your Framer site or just do something that you cannot do out of the box, you can just ask this workshop plugin to help you do that. Now, it's obviously not going to get it right 100% of the time, but from my testing, Framer does a pretty good job at getting it pretty close. And if it didn't get it right the first time, you can actually chat with it to expand upon your prompting. So for example, I might want to say, okay, add the Google logo to the left of the text in white. And you'll see it'll automatically start updating that component. Again, this is really powerful because you don't need to know how to code to build some really cool things in Framer now. And just like that, it's added the Google logo with my prompt. And I could even go a step further with the styling here and go, okay, the space between my Google logo and my text here is a bit much. So I could say add a property control for the gap between the icon and the text. And when we refer to property controls, we're essentially talking about these properties down here on the right-hand side that I can configure within the Framer UI. So you'll now notice we've got this property here called icon gap. And if I shrink this or grow it, that gap is now going to change. And since this is a component, I can reuse this on my website. And the really cool thing about this is it actually saves the code for you. So you'll notice I have this add to calendar button, which has all the code for my actual component itself. And then at any time, if I want to update this component, I can just click on that component, go down to my properties panel, and you'll notice we've got the button that says edit in workshop. Now, the only limitation that I'm going to mention here is that if you do decide to edit the code yourself and add something a little bit custom here, Framer's going to pick up on that and it's not going to allow you to edit in workshop anymore. So unfortunately, you can't use your own code and then use Framer's AI workshop tool to actually add to that code. But to be honest, if you're a no-code hacker like me, I think you'll be just fine. Okay, so the last tool I want to show you is called Visual Electric, which is a third-party plugin for Framer that essentially lets you say goodbye to stock photos and lets you generate exact images with a single prompt. So for example, here I have this hero section of my website, which Framer's wireframer kindly built for me, but I want to add a cool image up here, something that really captures the eye. So if I click on my fill here and go to the image tab, I can obviously upload my own image, or something I often use a lot is use Unsplash, which has a massive library of really high quality stock photos. But a lot of the time I actually can't get exactly what I want. So this is where we can use the Visual Electric plugin, which is essentially an AI tool that generates images for you that you can then directly insert into your Framer site. So for example, if I want an image of a dog wagging its tail on top of the moon, we could search for that. And then you'll notice that Visual Electric will generate a few different images that we can choose from. I think this one's pretty funny. We'll add that one to our page. And then just like that, we have a brand new image that's never been seen before, that's really high quality that we can use throughout our website. Visual Electrics do have some paywalls, so you got to be aware of that at certain places, but I just use the free tier from time to time and it works just fine. So it's just one of those tools you should keep in your back pocket, especially when an asset is required that you don't exactly know how to find. Now, as you can see from this video, with just 3 different tools, we've been able to do a lot of different things. We've been able to generate the whole page structure. We've been able to add custom code components without any code. And then lastly, we've been able to generate really good stock photos using prompts. So whether you're a designer, a marketer, or something in between, all of these tools can be useful for you in different ways. You just need to know how or when to use them. For example, me personally, I probably wouldn't use the wireframer tool all the time, especially when building from scratch. But if you're someone who wants to just build websites quickly, maybe you've got a simple client project, or maybe trying to build something for yourself, it's a great place to start. For a bit more of a pro designer and Framer user like myself, I think the workshop tool and Visual Electric plugin are a game changer when it comes to adding that custom look and feel to your website. It just opens up so many possibilities. I'd love to get your take on Framer AI. Are you here for it? Are you not? Either way, I think these few things here that I've shown you can be really powerful for your next project. If you want more Framer content like this, consider subscribing to the channel because we're putting out new Framer tutorials every single week. And if you're interested in mastering Framer, check out my Ultimate Framer Masterclass, which is my A to Z course on mastering Framer in the shortest amount of time. And if you want even more goodies for Framer, head to insertframe.io because there's a ton of different products, plugins, and resources over there to explore as well. But until next time, I'll catch you later.